Thursday. There's one more day in the week. Yay.
Okay, here
Thank
we
you.
go. We're going to go in and take a look at an example of a standard essay. This is standard essay number 1. I'm going to try to move our pictures over so that I can see you guys, but also see the document. Okay, so it's got the title part on there where it says it's InTASC Standards. Standard 1 through 3 are the learner and learning. So that's the substandard, the subtitle from the InTASC Standards, and then standard 1 is learner development. This is the actual standard 1 typed out. And I want this in your standard essays. All of that'll be the same for each of you. Then you're going to go into the artifacts under each of the categories. So the first one being performance or field clinical. Back over here. I don't know that I can do that. I gotta. Okay. So this picture is the artifact. The blurb or the paragraph above it describes it. So in my classroom in the spring of 2023, every morning our students would arrive, unpack their belongings, eat their breakfast, and begin practicing their handwriting by tracing customized name templates. Following the InTASC standard, I was able to regularly assess my students by observing their handwriting skills, letter formations, and fine motor skills of using writing utensils by giving them hands-on age-appropriate activities. Shown below is an image of some of my students practicing writing their names in alphabet letters. She goes on to say, part of the process of learning to become an educator is lesson planning. It is imperative to understand the purpose of lesson plans as well as what it should include and how it should be implemented. Following InTASC Standard 1B, I have included a lesson plan I created for an English lesson, teaching my students the letter capital C, little c, knowing that most of my students are a combination of visual learners and hands-on learners. I make sure to include engaging educational videos and activities that will support my instruction and better increase my students' academic retention. Okay, so this is her actual lesson plan based on the lesson plan that VSU has approved to be used. Now, she could have used the lesson plan from Amelia if she had wanted to, since she's from Amelia, but she used our lesson plan. Okay, and then her third artifact, she talks about explicit and direct instruction and student independent practice. Following the InTASC Standard 1C, my mentor and I collaborated with our school counselor to meet with our students and promote learner growth and development by discussing growth mindset, making positive choices, and finding ways to improve on bad situations or bad choices. All right, and then she goes on, this is her artifact that goes with what is above. That's her blurb, and that goes with that. The explicit and direct instruction student independent practice is just part of her lesson plan, it looks like. So those are her 3 artifacts for standard 1 performances. Again, she's got the picture where she describes how she gets students started every day and what they attempt to accomplish. She talks about the lesson plan that she uses and how it's tied to the InTASC standard. And then she talks about the growth mindset lesson that is helping students to make better choices. All right, so then she goes into the essential knowledge, still on standard 1, but she's got to have 3 artifacts. So attending master's level classes at VSU and working in Amelia has provided me with multiple opportunities to understand and observe how students learn, individuals and as a whole class. In the summer of 2023, while taking Psychology 512, Human Growth and Development at VSU, I learned about human development from early infancy and childhood through adolescence and into adulthood. In this class, following the Essential Standard 1D, I compared and contrasted an SOL standard in history from the viewpoint of a kindergarten elementary class and a 10th grade high school class. I had to research the similarities and differences in how those students construct knowledge, acquire skills, and develop thinking processes at both grade levels. Shown below is a portion of that assignment. I don't know if you all did that assignment in your psychology class or not, but this is how she chose to use the assignment. It's her artifact, and she's told, remember, essential knowledge is what you've done in your courses. So she's right on target in regards to the fact that this is related to her coursework. Stop me at any time if you have any questions. In the summer of 23, while taking Education 550, Reading Development and Achievement in the Classroom Setting, I learned progress monitoring and how useful it can be in determining students' academic growth. Using progress monitoring in conjunction with Gotsky's zone of proximal development allows me to provide direct and implicit instruction to a student who may be struggling, and then monitor the student for growth. Following InTASC Standard 1E, I understand that the learner's cognitive, linguistic, social, emotional, and physical development influences learning, and I'm able to make instructional decisions that build my own student strengths and needs. Shown below is a sample from a paper I wrote about progress monitoring. And she cut and pasted from her paper written samples. So those are her artifacts, but she had the blurb telling about how it related to her class and how it related to the InTASC standard. So let's go back. She had the master's level project that she did in human growth and development. And then she had 2 writing samples that she did that went along with the reading development and achievement in the classroom setting. So those are her 3 artifacts. Then she goes to reflections. One strength I have as an educator is that I'm highly observant of my students and focus on establishing strong relationships with each of them. As an educator, it is imperative for me to understand my students both personally and academically, as I use both of these areas to help them grow, learn, and develop. I also use the information I gain from students to better develop lesson plans and create engaging activities for them to participate in. Following InTASC Standard H, I respect my students' differing strengths and needs, and I am committed to using the information to further their development. Below is an excerpt from a journal I wrote during the week of August 28th, reflecting my thoughts about my students. All right, so she's got her journal entry there. Why can't I get my cursor to move? She's got another journal entry there from September 4th. So those are her 2 journal entries. And then she did go ahead and share her action research here, which I had mentioned a few minutes ago, is a Qualtrics survey. So she talks about that. She didn't have to do a 3rd one, but she did. And the reason she doesn't have to do a 3rd one is because this entire essay is considered a reflection, and you have to have a standard essay that describes all of your artifacts that is in each standard. Okay, let's stop there and y'all ask me questions. Are you lost?
Do we have access to live text already?
You do not, but you don't need to worry about that yet. What I'd rather, like, this is a Word document that she created and just put in Google Docs until we could get into live text. If you have everything ready to go in live text, it won't take you an hour to put your artifacts in. As long as you know what standard it's aligned to, and you've already done your blurb, and you've got your picture and your blurb together, it won't take you long at all to put it in live text. The hardest part is getting your artifacts together with their blurb, and then creating the essays and having them ready. But you will have it in the next couple of weeks. Mr. Travis is working on getting those for you. Other questions? Do you, Renisha, do you better understand the layout of the essay now and how things are put together?
No, I do not.
Okay. All right, let's go back to the actual InTASC. All right, you guys, we're supposed to bring samples of artifacts tonight. And I know Shakira said she had a newsletter. What was the other thing that you had, Shakira?
A lesson plan.
And what was the lesson plan in reference to?
It's just a lesson plan for our 6th grade science class.
Okay. Let's look at, that would be under field clinical performances. Teacher creates developmentally appropriate instruction that takes into account individuals' learners' strengths, interests, and needs, and that enables each learner to advance and accelerate his or her learning. Do you think that that would work for your lesson plan? Did you include things about individual learner strengths and, what you needed to do to differentiate instruction?
Yeah, I did, but I don't know. I think that as time going, is it okay? Like, since we're just putting things in Google Docs, can we change things around until we have access?
Absolutely, yes. But I just don't want people to wait to put things in Google because the time will slip up on you. It's better to have things in there and you go in and change them up and all that stuff. But to not put anything in there is going to be a problem. But you see how easily you can take, if you've got an artifact, you can match it up with a substandard. And again, it's all about how you it's about how you say that artifact meets the standard, and nobody can say what you've said is wrong.
Yeah, I just don't think that I really fully understood the first time, so I probably switch it.
Okay, that's not a problem. All right, Angela, do you have any artifacts tonight? Are you talking to us? Because I can't hear you. Just a reminder, I won't be here next Thursday, but Dr. Upadhyaya will be here at 6 o'clock and she will answer any questions you have, talk through anything that you're still confused about. So, you still utilize that time for assistance if you need it, because I don't want you to walk around confused. We're going to continue to work on it tonight. All right, Angela, what's going on with you? Can you come off mute? You're going to call me?
She's having technical difficulties because on Zoom it's saying that she's logged out, but we still can see her.
Says she's logged out, but you still can't see her?
No, I'm saying on her Zoom it's saying like she's not on there, but we can still see her.
Oh, okay. Can you hear us? Okay, can you put in the chat what you have as an artifact for tonight? You can't access the chat? You can't see it. I can't see your screen on your phone. I can't see it. It's all blurry. All right, well, we'll just move on to the next person. Ranisha, did you have any artifacts you brought tonight?
Well, I have stuff in my Google Drive, but
Okay.
I don't, as far as artifacts, that's why I'm like, I'm confused. I don't really know what I'm doing. So like I uploaded pictures and stuff that I felt could go with my InTASC. I just haven't put like blurbs and stuff on. And now that I think about it, I feel like the pictures I added doesn't even go with the InTASC at all.
Anything?
So I have my draft like really organized. So it has like lesson plans, my journals. It says InTASC. Like I don't know. That's what I'm like. I feel like I'm still confused. But that's what I'm like. If you go in my Google folder, it's in InTASC. Like I have a seating chart in there. I have pictures from a collaborative meeting that we had about data.
All of
Talking
these
about
things, Ranisha, all of these things apply to InTASC.
That's why I was like, I thought so. I just was so, I don't know. I think I'm overthinking the whole thing,
You are,
honestly.
you're overthinking it. All right, let's look at InTASC 1, which you got there. Okay. So all of these are artifacts. Shoot, I'm
I
sorry.
believe so. That's I'm like, I don't. And my lesson plans is also in there because that's labeled as lesson plans.
Okay.
So these are pictures of like me in small group with like my low level kids, you know, trying to help them get current content or remediation, and some videos of like me being hands on with the students during different student based projects that we're doing in class during science.
Okay, stop
So
for a
I was
second.
just
All
okay.
of these, you're doing the right thing. What you have to do now is with this picture, you have to add a blurb explaining what it is that's going on in that picture. So a little paragraph
Okay.
that tells about it. And you're going to look at the standard and see how you can make the substandard. You're going to see how you can make it work. So you might have to
Okay.
read through all of them, but you'll be able, the standards are so similar, you will be able to tie it with something. So in this case,
Okay.
you're doing remediation, you said, with your slow learners. Well, let's go back over to the InTASC standards. All right, the teacher, number 1, the teacher regularly assesses individual group performance in order to design and modify instruction to meet learners' needs in each area of development and scaffolds the next level of development. That is what you're doing. You're finding that your students are not catching on to the material. So you are modifying your instruction and determining how you're going to go back and scaffold that development so that they can get to the next section. So there you go.
Okay.
It goes with 1A right there. It's again, it's all about how you explain that it meets that substandard. Now, it may not go with 1B or 1C, but you'll find one that'll go with each one of your artifacts. It just takes some time. So the best thing to do is to have your Google folder open and have the InTASC substandards open and see if you can get them to work together. I'm sorry.
Okay, question. So this week I'm doing parent teacher conference. Will that go for subtext 1C? Does that count as?
Yes, it can. Yes, it can.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm just overthinking it all. I feel like I understand more now.
And I'm going to give you a copy of the preview, that student that I've been sharing the information with. She's given permission for me to share it. And I think it'll help you if you can print it out and just sort of
Yeah.
see how she's, she's doing the introduction that everybody has to do. Then she's doing 3 performances, but she's doing a picture or a document with a blurb for each one of those 3. And then she's going on to the essential knowledge or course level items. And it's 3 things from your courses that will go with one of the substandards. Now there's a whole, there's more. There's 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 11 substandards in standard 1, but you're not going to have 11 artifacts.
We only need 9, right?
You really only need 8 because one of them is going to be the standard essay.
And when you say standard essay, what do you mean? That's us just explaining and elaborating more on all of them together?
Yes, just like I showed you a minute ago that the girl had written. It was that I'll open it back up just so you can see. But that's what I'm saying is I want to share with you all of her standard essays so that you can see how she tied them together. That doesn't mean you have to do it that way, but at least it gives you a sample of something to follow. It was this. You remember looking at that a minute ago?
Yes, ma'am. I have another question.
Sure.
So our journal entries doesn't have to do with anything with the InTASC.
Oh, no, they can. The reason I'm having you write them is so that you have to have 2 journal articles as reflections in the reflection section. Now, you can either write about what's happened during your day, you can write about one of the topics that's in your syllabus, or you could just go to, hold on here, you could just go to the substandards. All right, you see the one that says teacher collaborates with families, communities, colleagues, and other professionals. You could write a journal article about how you use that in your classroom, and that could be one of your journal articles, but it would go under critical dispositions. So let's go down here and look.
So for critical dispositions, that's where we need the only one thing because that's our essay.
You need 2 reflections to go under critical dispositions, and then you have your essay. It's 3 for each section. It's
So
3.
it's really 9 then, not 8.
It's really 9, but one of them under reflections is your essay where you're tying all of it together. So it's 3 artifacts under performances, 3 under essential knowledge, 2 under the critical dispositions, and then the 1 standard essay is also going to go under critical dispositions.
Okay.
Neona, did
And
you I'm sorry, go ahead, Nisha.
So the blurbs doesn't need to be a whole page. That just need to be a paragraph, but the
Just a
essay needs to be the essay.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, and actually the blurb, what you can do, once you've got the blurb and the artifact together, it does need to go into live text like this. You have under course level, your essential knowledge ones, they're going to go 1, 2, 3. Under clinical field, which is your internship, you're going to have your 3, boom, boom, boom. Under reflections, really your InTASC standard essay is supposed to go first, and then you add in 2 additional journal articles that go along with it. But this particular essay is nothing more than after you put in this beginning information, which is on your cheat sheets, and you go into performance, then all you're doing is cutting and pasting your blurb and your artifact into this essay. Blurb, artifact, blurb, artifact, blurb, artifact, blurb, artifact. The blurb is from here to here, and then the writing samples are 2 artifacts. And then her reflections. She's got 2 journal entries, 1 here for the 28th, 1 here for the 4th. And then she talks about the action research item that she added in there that she didn't need to have. And most people summarize. I've met this standard because, as you can see from our artifacts, I have been able to synthesize the information from standard 1 and apply it to what I'm doing in my classroom. I mean, most people do a summary. She didn't do a summary, but she still did everything else that she was supposed to do for it.
Okay. Thank you.
Does that make better sense now?
I believe so. I just feel like I just need to put my blurbs and stuff together. I'm still kind of confused on the essay, but I feel like once you share that with us, I'll have a little bit more understanding so I can see exactly what I'm doing. But I feel much better now. I know I have all my artifacts. It's just about putting all the pieces together. So that I do feel better about.
Yes, you're just putting you've got a ton of artifacts. So now you just got to put the pieces together. Like you said, the InTASC substandards match them up with what you've got in your Google folder.
I knew to put stuff in. So it's like, I'm not too far behind.
Right.
Because I was like, I know we have class and I was going to call you to ask you more stuff, but I was like, I can't wait to just class and figure out, like, I'm just overthinking this.
Yes. And everybody does it's just a very abstract concept that you're trying to make into a concrete one. So you're going to be fine. We're just usually by this class, you start to have an awakening of what really is expected. So I want to make sure everybody feels somewhat that way before they leave tonight. Neona, did you have any artifacts that you brought?
Real quick, it's Neana.
Neana, you told me that the other night. I'm sorry. I need to write that down so I don't forget it.
Oh, good.
Okay.
So I could share my screen if necessary. I did find something I think would match with I think it was 1B.
Okay. Is it in your Google folder?
It's not. I could share my screen. Sorry, I missed the memo about bringing artifacts tonight, but I could share my screen.
Okay, you should be able to share it at this point.
Mm. I'm sorry, real quick, how do I see it. Okay. Okay, so this was like, so this is 4th grade math. We're working on equivalent fractions.
I can't see
And
it yet.
oh. Mm. Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, so this was 4th grade math, working on equivalent fractions. I was working with one of my students with disability, and I was starting to see that she wasn't understanding the concept of like how even though these have different amount of parts that they look the same. So I got a highlighter and made them look as if like, they were the same. So I'm thinking that could serve as like a scaffold maybe.
Yeah, it is.
But
You're working, went back to remediate with her to help make sure she got the concept before you move on. And that's exactly what you need to do. And you heard me when I read off the substandard. So I'm sure that's how you made the connection, right? So now you just have to put this, you need to put a blurb with this.
Okay.
And you can
Okay.
just do that by cutting and pasting your document from wherever you have it into like a Word document and just adding your blurb above it.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Brittany, how you doing?
This is my first class back. I missed last week, so I'm just kind of like retaining all the information, kind of trying to process everything. But I feel like I have a better understanding of what you're asking for now and just seeing everybody else's examples.
Okay, good. That's the whole idea. All right. What can I do at this point to help you further? Do y'all want to look at standard 7 since that was the other one that you were supposed to have ready for tonight? Or if you have other artifacts, we can talk about those as well. But I don't know what's best to help you. Just tell me what I can do to help.
So I know there's a checklist and stuff, but I still feel like there's so much information. Like I know it's useful and stuff, but I still trying to figure out like what we need each week. Like I kind of know there's a list there, but I saw something about like an action research project by like end of this month.
Yeah.
So
But I haven't addressed that yet because you've got some big things on your plate this semester. So I'm trying to take one at a time. And the ePortfolio is the most complex. So we're starting with that. The next thing that I will be going into will be the action research, but that won't be until week after next. This is the issue with the action research. You should have had that course that you're in now for that before you took this course. So whatever you do for that course, I'm sure it's going to be very important, but it is not going to apply to what it is you're doing this semester because it's not ready. You have, for this course, you have to put 2 action research projects into place. And you have to include them in your ePortfolio as well as your what is it you present? Your exit assessment for both midterm and for final. So one of them has to be in both your ePortfolio and your exit assessment for midterm, and one has to be in it for the final. So what I'm going to have you guys do for action research, and I will be talking to you more about this, but since you brought it up, I think it's a good time to discuss it. You all teach lessons and give assessments to see if students have learned, correct? All right. Well, then what you're going to do for your action research, I'm not going to have you do the research because you don't have time to do the research. You're going to do that in your other class anyway. What you're going to do is develop an assessment that's going to be a pre-test and a post-test. So it's the one assessment that you'll give for both at the beginning of your lesson, before your lesson, and you'll give it at the end of your lesson. Because what the goal is to find out what they've learned when you taught the lesson. So if they didn't know much before the lesson, you taught the lesson, and then you see how much they did learn, then that's proving that you are making a difference in the classroom. And that's what we want to show for your action research. So it doesn't matter what content you're in. It can be math, science, social studies, English. But it it does need to be a content area. You need to create the assessment, and you need to create the lesson plan, which you're going to do anyway. And then after you do the pre and post assessment, I'm going to show you a data form where you can compare the data. Not that you can't do that anyway off the top of your head, but it will compare the data. So you will have an official data form that you'll be able to use as an artifact. And the lesson plan you'll use as an artifact. The assessment that you're going to create will be used as an artifact. But as far as the action research is concerned, in showing it in your exit assessment presentation, is you're going to have a slide and you're going to show the data that proves that you made a difference from pre-test to post-test after teaching a lesson on ABCs, or teaching a lesson on 3-digit addition, or teaching a lesson on the parts of a plant. It doesn't matter, again, what the content is or what the lesson is, but you do have to have a completed lesson plan, and you do have to have a assessment that you can, use as an artifact. And then you'll have that data chart. And with the data chart, I'm going to have you write a summary to conclude your action research. And it's basically going to say, I gave my students a free test before I taught them the lesson on blah, 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 meeting the SOL objective, blah, 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 or it may not even be an SOL. So whatever. And then I gave them the post test. As you can see from my data, all of my students improved with the exception of 2, and one of them is severely autistic, and I didn't expect that student would do well the first time, but I'm going to go back and remediate that student to make sure that they have what they need. The other student was absent the day of the pretest, and so I don't have any data on that student. However, it does show overall that my students did learn from me teaching the lesson, and they're all ready to move forward, with the exception of my one autistic student that I plan to remediate possibly before school later this week or whatever. So, I mean, it's not a complicated summary. You're just kind of telling the story of what it is that you did. And you're going to do 2 of those. So again, I will walk you through that again, but that's what the action research is going to be, since y'all haven't done it in your other class. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good. That was a good question. Your exit assessment is just going to be like a PowerPoint presentation that you're going to give. You're going to have slides. If you look in your syllabus under the exit assessment, it tells you all the major areas that you have to include in your PowerPoint. And we're going to go over all of that. Just haven't gotten there yet. And you'll have a slide on each one of those main areas. And you're just going to put bullet points on there that will guide you to talk about the slide without you reading the slide. Nobody hates anything more than being read to. Just like I know it was painful for y'all to listen to me doing that essay tonight, because nobody likes to be read to unless it's a children's book or something fun. So I know it's painful. So we're not going to have you reading a PowerPoint, but we are going to have you put the bullets on the PowerPoint. Pictures, you want to have as many pictures as you can get. The more pictures you can get from things in your classroom, the better off you're going to be for both the exit assessment and the ePortfolio. And again, you will give that presentation at the end of the semester. You'll invite friends and family, and alumni will come, and faculty will be there, and it's a very formal event. Okay, so back to the ePortfolio, since that's our focus. Are there any other questions tonight before y'all go out and find your artifacts and match them up with your substandards? Renisha, is your hand raised?
Yes, I have a question, but it's not about the ePortfolio.
Okay, well, go ahead.
So for the assessments we're supposed to take, I don't know how to register for the teaching reading praxis 5205. And then I'm elementary education track, so I know there's another praxis we're supposed to be taking. And I know you said we need to have all our tests at least registered by today, but I don't know how to register for the 5205 in the other one. And then the other one, do we get vouchers for that one too, or we have to pay for that one?
You get one voucher for each test if we have them, and we do have them right now. So you can get vouchers from Ms. Pender.
Yeah, she don't never respond to my emails. So I
Send
emailed about the registration for the 5205 and the Praxis 2 test saying that I need a voucher. But she never emailed me back. So I was like, I know we supposed to be all registered.
whenever you send her anything, or Dr. Spencer anything, always CC me on it. Not that that makes any difference, but at least it helps me to continue to badger them outside of email.
Okay. I'll send her another email tonight asking for both vouchers because,
And you're going to include me on it?
yes, ma'am, I was a little confused.
Put Dr. Spencer on it too, because really Dr. Spencer is in control of all the vouchers. Ms. Pender's the one that gives them out, but Dr. Spencer tells her who to give them to. So if you include us all on there, you got a better chance of getting them.
Yes, ma'am, I will do that.
Okay. And I will send you a link after this to how to get to the Praxis teaching reading.
Okay, thank you.
It's 5205, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, because she sent me the voucher for that one. The
Okay.
code, I just need the voucher for the other practice we need to take for
The
elementary
Praxis
education. I
2.
can't think.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
the Praxis 2 for elementary has 4 parts: a math, reading, or language arts, science, and a social studies piece. So she does have vouchers, I believe, to take 2 at a time, as opposed to taking all 4. But your time is running out, so just do what you can do. I don't know what else to say. But if you don't finish everything by the end of April, you will have to, you can't graduate. I think they'll let you walk in the spring, but I'm not even guaranteeing that because I'm not entirely sure. But then you've got the summer that you can finish up, retaking tests and things like that if you need it, and you can graduate in August. There's only 3 times you can get a degree conferral during the year. One is May at graduation, one is at August, and there's no formal graduation there, but they do confer degrees based on what people have taken in the summer courses, and then once in December for the end of the second semester.
Yeah, my whole thing is just trying to, do that process with VDOE to get a provisional license. And I know when I went to do my research, they were saying that it's something that the university has to sign for us because we're in a program.
It's
So
college verification form.
So that's what I'm saying. Do we wait to do that after we go through our classes, or are we allowed to start that process now?
You can start the process now, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the division will go forward with it. It's funny. It's from division to division. It just depends on whether they're going to pursue it or not. I guess a lot depends on whether they have vacancies or not.
Well, I know my school was telling me to reach out to HR, and HR was telling me to reach out to my university because they told me that it takes 14 weeks. So
Right?
I was gonna start now because, you know,
That's fine.
my principal's asking me now about like, am I coming back next year? And I'm like, I'm not coming back as a board sub. I'm coming back as a contracted teacher. And honestly, I'm not starting no school year next year unless I'm a contract teacher. And I know in this program we need to be in a school system for 3 years.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to weigh my options at this point.
Well, if you graduate in May, you finish all your assessments, pass all your classes, you graduate in May, there's absolutely no reason why you won't be a licensed teacher. You don't even need to deal with the provisional. You'll be a fully licensed postgraduate professional licensed teacher. It's
Right. My concern is the assessments though. That's my main concern is the assessments. Because I already didn't pass
yeah,
the VCLA
right,
and I still have to pass the other two. And
right.
like you said, I am running out of time. So
I
and
know,
I can't get another voucher for the VCLA, so this time I have to pay out of pocket.
right.
So it's like I'm not about to pay for a test just to take it when I know I'm probably not gonna pass it again. So I'm trying to be proactive, not reactive.
And that's
So
a big.
yeah, I'm just trying to weigh
And
my
Dr.
options.
Spencer is saying she's going to have a study session for you guys once a week, but she hasn't set it up yet. She set one up for the undergrads, and they started tonight. They had
That's
an
what she
hour.
told us.
They had
She
an
told us
hour.
January 31st.
What's that?
I said she I can't remember who, and I called her, emailed her, but she said she will be letting us know by January 31st, like what she has for us, but she never reached back out to us.
I don't
No.
think she's established it yet. Otherwise, she would have reached out. She didn't reach out to the undergrad students until today. So,
Wow.
Yeah,
and they were supposed to be there at 5 o'clock tonight. So I don't know what kind of turnout she got, but it was just like an introductory meeting tonight. So I'm assuming maybe she's going to try to do something next week. I honestly do not know.
okay. I'll send an email tomorrow because I emailed her and she said she wanted to have a schedule finalized by the 31st.
Okay, good. That would be
So
great to follow up. Again, whenever you send something to Dr. Spencer or to Ms. Pender, just CC me on it so that I know what it is that y'all are communicating. It's not that I'm trying to be nosy. I'm just trying to be able to support you guys on whatever it is you're asking.
Okay. All right. Will do.
So will these sessions be in person?
No, they're on Zoom.
But it wouldn't be during our class time, right?
No.
Okay.
So I'm thinking she's probably going to do it for y'all on Tuesdays because the undergrads have classes on Tuesday evenings and y'all have classes on Thursday evenings. So it would make sense that she did it back and forth. But I don't know.
Okay.
All right, I'm not going to keep you on here for the sake of just keeping you on here, but do you need me to do anything for you other than make sure that you get a copy of these essays? And Ranisha, I know I need to send you the link.
Oh wait, I do have a question. So I remember one of her journal entries was from September, but I know we started ours this January. So do we have to go back to September to make some?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay. I
no,
just wondered.
no, just this semester. And it's only for the purpose of your ePortfolio.
Okay.
I mean, I'd love for you to be reflective every single day of your career because I do think that that makes a person better when they constantly are reflective. And that is part of our mission. But you got a lot going on. So,
I was about to say if only you knew how much was I can only speak for me personally. I can't speak for everybody else, but I know me personally, the stuff that I have on my plate, I'm like, y'all asking for a lot. And I know it's expected because, you know, this is a master's program. So it's like, yeah, duh. But it's like, this is a master's program where we're trying to be licensed teachers, not just get a master's degree. So it's like,
girl, I can
okay.
tell you stories. I can tell you.
I'm like, okay. I'll be trying to hold on because I'm like, this is a master's program, but I'm like, but we're also trying to become teachers, but it's okay. I'm holding on. I'm
Well,
holding on.
that's it. It's a means to an end, and we're all planning to get there. So let's do it together. All right, let me know what I can do to help you. I will get these essays out to you all hopefully by tomorrow. And keep your chin up, stay positive. If you need a Zoom meeting, Dr. Obadiah or I, either one, are willing to meet with you personally or a small group, however you want to do it. I won't be here Thursday, but Dr. Obadiah will be. Take advantage of these sessions to help you to progress in such a way. Because I mean, technically by next Thursday, you should have all your artifacts for 1, 2, 3, 7, and your essays for each one. Now, are they going to be in final form? No, that's okay. But you need to at least be striving for that. So let us know if you're suffering in silence. There's no reason for that because we are here for you.
Real quick.
Yes.
Because I know I need it. Can we like briefly go over everything we should have submitted so far or uploaded to Google Drive? I know there's a list, but like I
It
need.
is. Only thing I'm worried about right now is your artifacts and your essays.
Okay. Okay.
That's all I'm worried about right now. I had to step back and break things down further because knowing what the previous 2 cohorts accomplished, just finishing grading those and how horrible they were, I want to make sure you guys do it right the first time.
Okay. So 1 and 7 was this week, and you said 3 and 4 is next week.
I'm sorry, 2 and 3.
2 and 3 is next week. 7 and 1 was this week. Okay.
Yes. All
And
right.
by essays, you mean the journal entries, correct?
No, the essays are the explanation of your artifacts for the standard. That's that standard essay reflection. The one that we
Okay.
went over earlier, that another student had written. And I'm going to be sending you essay samples for each one of the standards so you have something to model by.
Okay.
And we'll try to get those to you tomorrow. Now, reflections are done. You want to get a couple of those done a week. And quite honestly, I would go to the substandards and I'd find a substandard and I would just write a reflection on that because that way you know which one it goes with. And you just talk about what you're doing in your classroom or what y'all are doing in your school to meet it. But you can write about your day because you can tie that to any of the any of the substandards too. Anything that you're doing in the classroom really applies to most of the substandards. Just try not
Well,
to.
can we have until tomorrow to like go in and tweak some things, like if we weren't like totally understanding the first time?
Absolutely. You've got until midterm.
Okay.
Just make sure something's in there.
Okay, it will be.
It doesn't have to be tweaked to its final point, but you just need to have something in your Google folder that you're working with. All right, anything else for the cause? All right, guys, thank you for taking your time tonight to do this. And let us know if you need either one of us. Dr. Obadiah, you have anything you'd like to say?
No, I'll be here. So bring your artifacts and hash out what you should write. I can help with. One thing I'm not good at anything, but one thing I have learned over the years is with the sign, what you're doing, that pre and post thing, right? Giving an assessment. I'm kind of halfway decent on that, so I can help with that depending on what age group you're working with, what questions you can pose, or what can you write. I did this to remedy this, and this is the results I got. So that's like a scientific method kind of thing, and I do that for living every day, so I can help with that. So bring whatever you have, and let's work together. Like, Dr. Bazemore said, do not suffer in silence. That's what we are here for. So just like you guys shared today, ask questions, bring questions next time if you are able to. If not, we'll see you in 2 weeks, but I'll be here next week.
Thank you, Dr. Obadiah. All right, folks, go rest and get some things done, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Dr. Basemore, how was your day today?
It was a good day. I stayed at home and worked worked on field experiences all day, and I got a lot of that done and got mock interviews set up for next Tuesday for the student teachers. And so just it's a good day when I feel like I've accomplished something, you
I
know?
know, right? Yeah, even you can check off this is done. That's good.
Exactly. How about you?
Yeah, it was a good day. I did my office hours at Reynolds, and then I went to teach. Stopped by to say hello to Jachira and Dr. Spencer. And so it's really
And thank you for your notes.
oh, you're welcome. It was part of the process. Everybody needs to know what happened. So thank you. So in 2 weeks we'll talk, and I think Dr. Spencer has scheduled a meeting for next Thursday. I know you're not here, but I'll take notes and stuff and share with you.
Sounds
So, and
great.
just for next week, if you will make me the host of it, so I can start the meeting, right?
How do I do that?
I think
Oh, let me cut off the recording first of all.